Welcome to the Sheila Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have two special guests. We have Ushnish Chatterjee and Siddharth Nandi. They are two childhood friends who have beer-filled bellies and make people wear t-shirts for a living. They never really wanted to stick to an orthodox mold for living, and instead always wanted to kickstart something on their own. From heartbreaks to success, and from being leaders to rebels, and having big dreams and even bigger guts, they have made Get Nerdy happen. Get Nerdy, in essence, is an independent streetwear label which was founded in India and has expanded operations into the USA just a couple of months ago. All right, so welcome to the show, Ushnish and Siddharth.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you.
All right, and one of the things that this show is based on is my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And this year, globally, we have been hit with every situation with our pandemic and everything else going on. So I always like to ask my guests if they have a special story about a time in their business or personal life where they maybe hit a tough situation and how they got back on track.
Right. So with GetNerdy, the thing is that we started a couple of years back, dating back to like the end of 2017, and so like I said, like we are a couple of school friends, and we had always this idea in our heads about starting something of our own, but we exactly didn't know what to do, and it was just a random chilling out session that we had one night, and this idea came across that maybe this is something that we want, and we, in essence, being an entrepreneur or having a startup is solving two problems. And at that time, one of the major problems that we were facing as teenagers were, kind of get the correct or the absolutely perfect apparel or the right kind of t-shirt for you in the market. So that is what clicked our head that maybe this is something that we can start. So that's how that started. Initially, everything was of course going well. It was smooth sailing. We were on sky high, that stuff. But then, of course, as it is with every other startup or every business, to be honest, we kind of hit a low point. The entire team kind of disbanded, and of course, due to lack of finances and all other different circumstances, that we had to stop operating. But this year, of course, it's been a mess all throughout the world because of COVID and stuff. But
Mhm.
it got us back to the drawing board, and it got us thinking about what we can do to actually, because this has always been a dream, right? So we couldn't really get rid of it. So we went back to the drawing board, started planning, started talking, and got an entire team together and started working hard. And now, as far as expanding the US is concerned, of course, we started in India, and India will, of course, be our home base. But then the entire shift to the US, having a proper website done, having a good portfolio of designs, collaborating with people, all these things started. So, albeit the fact that this year has been a pretty messed up year, it's kind
Yeah,
of a blessing in disguise for us in the sense that we could get the business back on track.
nice. Yes, that is something, and it depends on how we look at this year. It can be a big opportunity to shift your business and do something different. Yes, and how about for you, Ushnish? I'd love to hear some of your.
Yeah. Yeah, as Siddharth mentioned, obviously, like every new business has some challenges, and and plus this pandemic has been a real roadblocker for everyone, and we also faced that kind of a challenge, and how we can harness this market, and and while we were planning to have a remote operations done in United States, right, and we are figuring out different operations and strategies, and how we can take it forward, and how we can take help of different partners who are based out of US, and we can identify those right pockets in the market, and then we can stagger the products in the, and also look at least some sales, because as Siddharth mentioned, right, we are a streetwear level, right, and it was not an easy task at the first level, right, to give that kind of an outlook to the market, that like, yeah, we are something new, we have some new designs which we can give you. And the best part about GetNerdy is something which we always help our customers to think in a very personal and customized way, right. We have our designs made where the customers can be able to connect with their life stories, right, and how we can help them just promote those within themselves, right. So that is something which we are always embracing on, and how we can see at the future potential as well.
Oh, that's fun. So the t-shirts are sharing about your life story in a way. That is
Well,
interesting.
well, kind of. So primarily, what we are kind of trying to do or doing at this point is, so every single person has a dang sense of humor. We're just trying to get that humor out from their minds and putting it on the t-shirts and actually giving it to people. So
Mhm.
that's in essence what we're trying to do at this point.
Nice, nice. That's fun. And yeah, so that's a great thing to do, and it's fun. We need to have a lot more fun because
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
a serious time,
Absolutely.
such a serious time, and people need to breathe and have a little bit of fun, and especially now, with
Right.
families are home looking at different ways to create a business here. Now you're bringing a business to the United States from India, and there's some people that are actually bringing businesses to India. Believe it or not, and it's friends that I know. It's kind of interesting how that's happening, and it's so even though our world is more restricted in some ways, it has opened up communication. Here we are talking across the globe with one another, and I literally talk to people from around the world all the time on the show and with different clients I work with, and I'm having a blast. I get to travel the world without leaving home or the studio. So it's fun. It's nice. And it's really important. I think also for I think anybody can wear a t-shirt and wear it well, depending on what you want to express. And
Correct.
right now we have even like I have kids and they're in college and they're home because the universities are closed. The
Right.
doors they're closed. And so now the kids are home, but they can even wear fun shirts and be in their classes or clubs together or something like that. They can still meet up a little bit. Now some of our countries, some of our states are closing down again. It's bad
Right.
and us right now. So it's been hard on that group. On my younger age, college kids have really been struggling. How do you have the college experiences where you meet your friends and talk to people and all this? It's really difficult. And so we need to have more expression. And I think I don't know, I'd love to hear what it's like in India versus here. Have you come over to the United States? Have you seen a difference as far as dealing with the pandemic overall?
Well, we don't really know how it's like in the US, but in India it's pretty messed up. Like for the last 8 weeks, we've been stuck at home. Like nothing's moving the way it's supposed to on a normal day. And for the most part, being like an entrepreneur or being owners of businesses or just people of our age group, right? Being stuck at home itself is a very problematic thing. Like you always feel like moving always feel like hustling. So the moment you're stuck at home and you the only thing that you're seeing on the walls of your house all day long. So that's when you start to contemplate like, okay, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Right.
So that's what's been happening with us over these last few months. But yeah, working on this business and actually planning things out has kept us busy. We've had tons of sleepless nights and lots of black coffee and Red Bull.
Yeah.
So so yeah, that's how it's been for the last at least 6 to 8 months for us.
Yes, and that's something with a new business, starting a new business. I've run gift stores, and I had 5 businesses, bought lots of buildings, run big teams, and I've been doing it since I was very young. And with that, I've always worked 14, 16-hour days. It
Right.
becomes a habit. I don't know.
Right.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. I've traveled the world. I've had time off. I've been able to pay for all my children to have the best educations and all the best because of it. But I always made sure that in my work I was giving back and helping the community. And so it always, what blesses one blesses all. It comes back to you. And it's so for me, it's always been a mission of helping others, and it comes back. And so it's been, I jump out of bed and I enjoy what I do. And so as long as you're happy doing what you're doing and it's making it, you're having fun with it, then that makes a big difference in your life and into your family's life. It can change your entire family's lives.
Right. So, Sheila, that's a very interesting point which you mentioned, right? And that's how we also are, scouting for new talents, right? As Siddharth mentioned, right, in the past 6 to 8 months. So, obviously, none of the business is, successful without a successful team, right? So that's where like we have been also identifying our it starts from friends who can help us to identifying potential partners who can actually understand the business ideas, and they can put in their experiences as well as their connections as well as their experience into that a whole success, right? And that's how it also played for us initially, of course all the startups hit a rock bottom at some point of the time, and then we again start to pick up, right? And that's how the story of GetNerdy has also been like. And last year and in 2018 as well, right? Like we have seen some the other down phases, and then we again started planning a 2.0 version, right, of GetNerdy. And that's how we have been very minutely doing how we can make it a success, right? And actually none of us planned for this global pandemic, right? Like we were sitting in the in the beginning of 2020, we were all excited that this fall we are going to go big, right? And Get Nerdy 2.0 will be coming up, and everybody was excited. And like suddenly this news comes in, and we have to shift the launch, and everything got little bit delayed. And that's how we have to also form and a very close knitted team, right? So that we can be with one another through thick and thin, and also plan those whatever obstacles we are facing, right, in the everyday life. And it's not only maybe something related to the end result, but also like while we are planning about the result, we can also face some blockers, right? And that's how it also has been for us. And while for example, right, like while we are building up the website, right, some of the other of the something is not working properly, we are just running back to those teams, doing those fixing and repairing and all again, going back to the customers and asking them like how is it the experience now. And like only like we are getting some good night's sleep, right? So that's how like it has been for us as well. And since I hail from a far east like side, I am currently based out of Malaysia, and right now the time also is a big deal, right? Like if some like while I'm walking in the US market, I'm walking in the wee hours of the night. So that's how it has been for me also. Like as Siddharth mentioned, like major time I'm always holding a cup of coffee to keep myself alive and my energy to the highest bar, right? To motivate the team as well, and and also channelize the perfect vision what we are exactly planning, the designs, the experience, the ideology what we have in our mind to get it to the other person's mind. So that has been always the main and primary objective for us as well.
Yes, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun. And I go back to at the beginning of your explanation, you said, oh, we all thought 2020, we're all going to go big. And there's this saying in the United States, go big or go home. And we all went home instead. We were all sent home. And it was so difficult. Go big or go home. Well, we all went home, but in a good way, in the sense that we got to rethink things. What matters most, the direction of your company, the teamwork, because the company becomes an extension of your family. You spend more time at work, especially
Definitely.
in starting a new business, than you do at home. And
Definitely.
have family, you end up bringing your family into the business a lot of the times, and so that happens. And so it's really important to have a good quality environment. I really feel like people feel the energy of that, if that makes any sense. They can feel the energy of they're buying a product, but they're buying the company
Story
value.
behind it.
Yes, that's really important. And I think of Malaysia, I think of Mind Valley. I don't know if you know of the Mind Valley. Yes. And so I'm very involved with their programs as well. I love them. And the values that they have and how they work with their employees and everything. And they just have fun with all they're doing. And it took a long time to build their business. So when you look at building a brand and building a business, it doesn't happen in a day or a year. It takes a few years and a lot of consistent work, and then listening to the clients, listening to the customers, things and needs change. So you're able to, like you said, you had to change your website, change the way you're working with your customers. Now you're working with people in the US and having people on the ground here to help you. And it's a really different thing than what you were doing. So it's like a big change, and you're going to notice your business. It's like your customers own your business in a way, because if for success, you're going to do what they want. Yes.
Of course. And it all went down to that one point that you mentioned. It's all about having fun. If you're not having fun with what you're doing, there's no point in doing that, to be very honest.
Exactly.
And when it comes to the customers, for us, of course, I mean, customers are the site where the company or where the brand is going to head, because we just cannot do whatever we want to and feed them, right? It has to come from there, and the feedback, what they want, the demand, or what's in trend, it has to come from them, and we have to listen to them, because they are what makes the company run end of the day. And just to touch on what Ushnish said about having a strong team, and actually having an extended family as part of your team, right? I mean, I would like to shout out to my teammates Abhi and Adi. I mean, they've been more than a family to us, and of course with their help and all their inputs and whatever the work they've put since day one has really been critical to us actually help making it possible for us to build this brand till where it is right now.
Yes, that's so beautiful. I love that. That is great. And
So
yes,
basically, like as Siddharth mentioned, right? Like we have been always trying to give a personalized touch to the the idea and the products we are showcasing right in our brand. And So moreover, it's not always when you are dealing with an apparel industry, right? It's a mainstream industry, right? The fashion, it's always growing, every day it's growing. Some of the other celebrities coming up with some new kind of trend, which is again streamlining throughout the demography, and they are also taking up the trend. So we thought of why not using our customer to be those trend maker or trend setters, so that we can understand from there, and they voice out to us and what they exactly need and what type of design they need, and then we will prepare accordingly, and put some humor into that idea, and we can launch our brand. And even I would like to ask Siddharth to tell about more about one of our mascot which we have came across, and I think you'll love that story.
So basically, the story behind the mascot is our mascot is a gorilla, and the story behind is our head designer, the art coordinator of our brand. He is a huge guy. He's a well-built, huge guy, and Loki resembles a gorilla. So we were like, this guy in itself is designing all these things. Why don't we go ahead with the gorilla? So that's how the entire idea works. The basic, if you have to ask about the attributes or the personality of the gorilla, I'd say so. Ushnish and I, being childhood friends, we were never really the typical school kids who will always watch their books or pay attention. Always having fun and just goofing around all the time. So we wanted the rebel side of ours to come out through our brand, through our mascot, and so whatever design, it all winds down to that design. So whatever designs and graphics that we put out, right? Uh, it has a very uh, quirky aspect to it in the sense that it's always very tongue in cheek. And so it's like like there's just one design that we made very recently wherein we showed our mascot wearing a fireman's attire, putting out a fire from a beer barrel, pouring beer on the fire. So that is how quirky we are making our designs. And so yeah, so like you said, I mean the brand in itself is an extension of our personalities, and we wanted, we don't want a very typical or a very common or let's say a boring line of clothing. We wanted it to be edgy, and nowadays kids love edgy. So that's how things started happening. And yeah, I mean, it's been a fairly good ride. I mean, Ushnish would probably tell you more about the fun that we had while working on this.
Yeah, Siddharth mentioned, right? These ideas are while a few friends are having a chill out session, maybe like these kind of ideas, like we are making fun, hey, dude, how come this can happen, right? And what if this happens? And that's those are the few fun ideas which we are converting into designs, and then we are involving that into our mascot, being that funny character who is doing that, and we are hugely promoting that character in our brand, that these since the holiday season is nearing already, right? So we are making him that that teenage dude who is he doesn't need to have a very family kind of Christmas, but he wants to go out of the house and have a party Christmas kind of thing. So that's something what we are trying to form up a story like, and these have been the designs. I mean, while this of course the this pandemic has been always issue, that there has been a huge scarcity in the toilet paper, right? And we have been showcasing, right, how this mascot Goldie, he is busy stacking and holding some toilet papers in his safety box, so that he can save for the rainy days, right? So this is how we are, and playing around with, but at the same time we are trying to communicate to our customer that this is how you can also involve your ideas to, and write it to us, and like how we can make more designs come through.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that. That's really fun. And, it's something, if you look at my book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, in the US, we have a saying, when you have a hard time, they say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I added the bra straps for the women. And my first business was my family's business, and that was that they made Catalina Bonds movies. All the swimwear was my family made that. So they made
Okay.
all these swimsuits, and then they made a lot of the bras. And so I grew up in the fashion industry
Oh,
myself, and so I
Right.
brought the bra onto the book cover as a fun way to have the masculine and the feminine involved in. When you're going through a tough situation, we all have to come together to get back on track, and it's also to honor the memory of my grandparents. And so that was a fun way, and it gets everybody's attention. They're like, "Well, I just bought the book for the bra, and I have 50% men that buy my book. They just want to see what's about." So yeah, and they love it. It's great content to help people, lots of fun stories and this and that. But so it's just having fun, even with the
of course.
serious topics like how do you get back on track from tough times when you lose a loved one or you have a divorce, something happens, your business goes out like this year with COVID, and how do you get back on track quickly? That's what I talk about. It's a serious topic, but you make it fun and it's interesting in that way. That's what we need. Even during the tough times, laughter, having fun, it's healing. It gets you through. It doesn't change anything, but it changes your day and your state, and you get to the other side of things faster and easier.
Right. Right. So, to be honest,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we are already, while we are locked up in our houses, right? Like it all started, like while we were planning. Obviously, that there was a pause in this year itself. I remember, like around March or April, when we were sitting in the inception of the pandemic, right? So
Mhm.
we both were busy introspecting, like what next. So
Yeah.
that's the question now. But never to worry, like while we were having those virtual connections, right? Like we were getting on WhatsApp calls, Skype, Zoom. We were using all these, platforms extensively to reach out to our team. And like the major part of the day, like saw that we are, always, connected. Like even if they are taking a, coffee break or a quick break for a lunch, they are also, like, pinging us like, hey, bro, like, let me come back and, because everybody is working in different times, right? Like, that's how we have to also align to, right? And that's how we slowly, and we got habituated to those kind of situations. And like right now, I rather call it a very smooth team communication what we are having, and that what we have been seeing, right? How close fabricated we are right now. So that's we are having that while we are sitting at the end of 2020 right now, it looks very much potential, like, because it has already changed the mode of business altogether, right? And how we are reaching out to customers, because right now our main audience, if you ask, are people of our, not only our age but also younger and also elder to us, so who will be interested on those designs initially, of course. So and that's how we are also trying to harness those new markets, and where we can penetrate, because we understand, right? Like in the West Coast, there's a bit of hot weather right now. We cannot go for cold wears, right? And while in the East Coast, we have to focus more on the hoodies and sweaters and whatnot. And so that's how we have to balance it out, right? And while we are having major of our team based out of the middle part, or as well, like there are a couple of people are currently in Texas, and like say, what's there for me, right? So now, like, we have to also somehow tell them to okay, well, this is what we are planning. So that has been a fun learning also for us, because altogether we have been working in that changing times. That has been a biggest learning, as well as experience for us to take the future step forward, and we are pretty much covered from that perspective.
Yes, how fun is that? See, that's so good, and you're getting to know your clients and their needs, and that really makes a difference right now. People are still buying. And I know my main home is Beverly Hills. I have another home in Las Vegas. And so I go
Right.
back and forth, and they're the main entertainment areas. And so you get to see fashion, and it's a big deal. And it's kind of fun that we don't have to dress up to go to work right now as much. And so we have fun with that. And it's a little different. In a way, it's sad, because there's so many stores, even in Beverly Hills, in Los Angeles, California, all over Vegas, that have closed, and yet people are still spending a lot of money, and they're still buying, and they still have needs, and the holidays are coming up. They're still buying. It's just different, and so people have switched. Maybe their store closed down, but now they're selling online, and so I
Correct.
think that has changed, and I think it's going to change where people want to live or can live, and how they do business and life
Of
overall.
course.
Yes, and I think that's going to be for the better, for the long term, for families,
Absolutely.
for affordability, for lifestyle design, so you can have that lifestyle. You really, have that fun, and not be pressured to have to live in the city or live somewhere where it's super expensive just to go to work, because
Right.
that's what work
Correct.
is. And so
Right.
hopefully this there's a light, as we hopefully get to the end of this pandemic, that there's this light of new innovation and technology and ways to help people and connect people that will show up.
Correct.
And yes, that's what I'm hoping for. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I mean, kudos to you for taking such an initiative, because I mean, it's obviously a fact that most people, when they life hits them and they're down, right? It's very difficult for them to get back up. And for you to actually host a show like this, wherein you actually motivate and encourage people to get back up, that's really a good initiative, I would say. And yeah, I mean, considering like our brand as well, as Ushni mentioned, like we had to overcome a lot of obstacles and circumstances, and like dubbing ourselves rebels in itself is another way to say that we were counted out as well. A lot of people came and told us like, this ain't gonna work, bro. This ain't gonna happen. But then end of the day, we are on the verge. I mean, if not yet, we are on the kind of verge to prove them wrong, and
Yes,
that feeling itself is kind of sweet. So yeah, I mean, it all winds down to how motivated you are and how determined you are to actually pull something off that you believe in.
that's right. That's right. Yes, I love that. That's great. And that's something, don't always, I mean, it's, I think our family and friends love us. They want the best for us. They want to keep us safe. And so they think this is all I can do. And so they tell you
Of course.
what their prescription is for them. And they don't know what you can do, but you know. And so you've got to go with that. And I've had lots of friends say, oh, during my tough times back and forth, my house burned down. And that's why I wrote my book. My house burned down and I lost everything in a house fire in 2017, and the California fires. And
Right.
that my friend said, oh, just get a job at the grocery store. I've had businesses my whole life. I'm like, you want me to what? You got to be kidding. And go rent an apartment. And I was like, no, no, no. And I went and I invested a very little bit of money, and I started a rental place, vacation rental, and I started another business, and my real estate team took off. And within a couple of months, they were like, wow, okay, you're a little crazy,
Right.
Sheila, but you know how to make money. And I said, thank you. And it was, I didn't listen, or I would be living in an apartment working at a grocery store right now, I guess. So not that those are bad, but that wasn't my calling for sure. And so I just knew, and I think you kind of know when you're an entrepreneur, you have setbacks. You have in business, you have times where business doesn't work out. You have to start over, you scratch that first business, try another one until you get the right business and you know you can land on your feet because you know what you've done in the past. So when you hit a difficult situation, it doesn't scare you anymore.
Right.
Correct.
See,
So,
it's all about
Yes.
never
What
giving up.
have you had when you started your business, you've had other times you tried to have a business before you got to this place where you're like, this is what we really.
Of course,
Yes.
we
So
have had.
that does happen often, and I think we're having internet issues, but
I think so, yeah, a little bit.
So we did have a lot of ideas, but I mean,
yes, about never giving up. That really does make.
I think we are having some network issues.
Oh yes, we're having a little bit of internet issues.
Is it better now, everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So now let's
Yeah.
see if we can maybe restart. Maybe if you could restart on your side. I think it may be we're supposed to. Oh yeah, that's
Sure. Yeah, I can hear you.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Siddharth, you were
Yes.
saying something.
Yeah. So, like I said, like touching on what Sheila just mentioned, like
Now
it's all
this is
about having that.
the distance, space, and time situation that we run into sometimes
Yeah.
when we're doing internet
Yeah.
at a distance.
But that's
Internet.
fine as long as
Let's
we can
see
all
if
speak. That's fine, I guess.
I can. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay. That's
Okay, we
okay.
are
So
still live.
this part. Yeah. So I think.
Yeah, it's. I think it's good now.
Yep.
Yes. So. All right. All right, so it looks like we had some computer problems, and I do want to share ways that you can connect with Ushnish and Siddharth. And so you can connect with them on Instagram at Siddharth_Nandi, or on Instagram at Ushnish Chatterjee. And so that is going to be something you can connect with them there. And their product name is GetNerdy, their t-shirt company. So look for the independent streetwear GetNerdy. All right. Thank you again. Now stay tuned and we will be back soon.